Actually, I was about 10 deep.
It doesn't matter because we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Bulla to everybody, round 8 review. And have I got some exciting news for you? It has been not just a massive week in football, it's been a massive 2 weeks in football, but it has been 3 weeks since the magnificence, the gorgeousness, the Jaden Stevenson's dad, the great man himself, Jamie the Jdog Wallace, has joined us. And back from his Bulla retreat, here he is. Great man, you're back. Look at you. You're tanned, you're fresh, you're looking amazing. And then you come home and then...
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
Port Adelaide serve up that trash again against the Doggies, mate. Great to have you back. Look, I love doing the show every single week, but I can't have my tango without my cash, and it's great to have you back, superstar.
Thanks, mate.
That's always a pleasure.
It was a good time away with fam. Unfortunately, the show didn't die without me, which I was hoping for over there. But anyway, we roll on another week, and to cap it off, I might have seen possibly the worst game of Port Adelaide played in the last 13 years.
Well, we have got a lot of things to talk about because it was a belt of a round of footy. But for the people who haven't joined us before, which I don't know what you've been doing because all the other podcasts out there are absolute tripe. I'm Peps, that's Jdog. We're Lace Out. It's how you want your footy. We're live every single week on Facebook, every single week on YouTube, and live to our podcast listeners, not just in Victoria, not just in Australia, but around the world, getting their source of just gorgeous AFL footy. And it's amazing the amount of a response over the last couple of weeks. People were welcoming. Bo Hawkins is welcome back, Jdog. Everybody missed you. But football in itself over the weekend, when I did my tips for the weekend, I thought this is going to be a cracking round of footy. Like, there was so many close games, 50% games, and then it turned up and it was absolute tripe. So let's just go through a couple of these results from the games on the weekend. Have a look at this. So the absolute ball fest, snooze fest, started on Thursday night with Essendon and North. Like, Essendon kicked the first 3 goals of the game and then kicked 2 for the second half, and that was just a snooze fest. Then you rock up to Friday night footy. Friday night, it is the piste de la résistance. You've had a hard day at work. You just want to sit down with a couple of beverages, maybe a maison for the non-alcoholics out there, or maybe a hard solo for the young hipsters these days. And you're treated to St Kilda versus Fremantle, arguably the worst first half of football I have seen this year. And it really didn't get better after that. Then you turn up on Saturday. Wow, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide. Doggies have been in good form. Port Adelaide have been in good form. I know it's down there at Mars. I could probably see it being a bit of a close one. And it turns into a 90-point blowout. And your mob screw the pooch again. So obviously they don't know if they want to keep Kenny or they don't know if they want to get rid of Kenny. You turn on to Saturday afternoon. All right, Crows versus Carlton. Carlton are back. According to everybody, the Blues are back. They are going to be making finals. The Blue Baggers. Football's better when the Carlton are alive. Oh, they're going to be a big challenge for the Adelaide Crows. Are they the real deal? Are they the swoopers or are they the swingers? And they just blew them out of the water. A virtual full-strength Carlton go down by 10 goals. Thank goodness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we had the cracker that was Saturday night. And I'm not talking about the D's versus West Coast because the first half was a little bit dicey, but it worked out in the back end. But that Collingwood-Geelong game, that one game saved the entire round and just goes to show how good. When the piece de la resistance, when the cream rises to the top, that are the two teams that are going to be playing not just finals football. They are, as they would say on SEN, preliminary final integrity. Cracker of a game. I'm going to get into that in a moment. Then you get down to Sydney and GWS. I'm thinking, oh, Giants, they're back, mate. They're going to take the Sydney Swans down. Sydney are poo. They're putrid. They're limp under the cocks. Now, mind you, this is a 14-point result. That is the smallest blowout I have ever seen. They weren't even in that at all on the weekend. The Giants have got some serious issues. Then, you know Hawthorn are going to smash Richmond, and they did. And then, My boys, the ones that you get stuck into all the time, Jdog. It's the last game of the round. It's 7:30. 60 minutes, you're on the back burner. Spotlight, you're on the back burner. Fallout from the election, not going to watch it because I'm going to watch the most awesome, epic battle of the Q clash, the pineapple grapple, and what a fizzer that was as well. It was just an absolute fizz fest of football on the weekend. And I'm rapt that you were in Bali and not have to expose yourself to the shit that was served up by virtually every club in the league this weekend.
I totally forgot who won the election. I have no idea.
Oh, well, you know what? It's not easy under Albanese, and it's still not going to be easy under Albanese. He's absolutely swamped it. It was almost Geelong Port Adelaide result in the 2007 grand final. That's how big the margin was. Hey, Bo Hawkins, cracking question here. Has Corns slammed Port's captain for running off the half-back line and getting the sheezy ball? Is he having a go at your mate,
Connor Rose. Connor Rosie.
I'm interested to find out your thoughts on that one right now.
Great question. Bo, I think it was just a general clusterfuck of a game for Port. I think nothing worked. And if anything, Corns has done in one sentence what Alistair Clarkson couldn't do in 2 years. He turned old cheesy into a bit of a what's the word? Contested possession game, not doing sheepdogs. And Alistair Clarkson hasn't done that for this whole season so far.
No,
so well done, Corno.
No. I think, look, he's been playing pretty good footy off the half-back line, Rosie, I must admit. His last couple of weeks was sensational. Look, here's the thing, right? I think Sheasel is a really good young player. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of the older ones taking his mantle, if that makes sense. I'm really disappointed with LDU at the moment. I've been really disappointed with Zerha. Larky hasn't been the same himself. Simpkin's been a bit down as well. Parker, Daniel, how would you say that they've been since coming in? Same with Darling. So, and not having Curtis there after Tacklegate, which you missed last week. He's only playing how he can play where he's positioned. If the coach puts him down on the half-back line, he's going to get easy ball. That's what half-backs do because that's just the nature of the game these days. So I think it was just a low blow, but it was really good because someone came out today and said Kane Corns had 35 possessions against us one day, and how many inside 50s did he have? None. And so they've had a crack back at him.
So I will say it now, and I will declare this like I said this earlier. I think Kane Corns is exceptional for football, and I think it's exactly what Channel 7 wanted.
Yep. Oh, no,
and
I like him.
It. This is how it is.
No, I think he is fantastic. I love it. Just going to read some comments that's coming through. Bo Hawkins, I'm disappointed I support this disaster, and I go every week thinking it will change. It will change. Look behind me. Look at my boys. They were absolutely putrid. The AFL had to save them. We were able to get a flag. It is coming.
Oh, it's not really a flag. Let's be fair, Peps.
All right.
It was COVID. It wasn't a flag. They played the MCG. No, they didn't. And the season after that.
Oh, what? If you lose a grand final by over 100 points, it doesn't count.
Shut up. You shut up.
It doesn't count. Jazzy saying that all I say is Kane Corns is a bully. I can see where he's coming from, but you got to be careful because you sometimes need to look in the rear view mirror and realise that what were you doing at his age? You know, you didn't have big brother Chad there for you to look after you. So, I don't know. Right, okay. So, before we get into the next thing, I want to have a quick shout out because we've got a brand new rising star. Hugo Garcia, round 8 rising star. Well done to the great man. Jamie, you were away when this happened, but the poor bloke got dragged halfway through the second quarter last week and copped an absolute spray from Ross Lyon on the bench. Everybody got to see it. And then he's come out last week in the 61-point thrashing of Fremantle. 19 disposals, 10 tackles, 5 clearances. He kicked a goal on the Saints win. It was a big week for the young fella because he got slammed from pillar to post, and he was able to come out and say, you know what? I'm going to grow out of this scenario, and he did. And look at him. He's buff. He's got the perfect bicep flex going on in that photo. That is a footy card photo, if I've ever
So
seen
hang
it.
on. He got yelled at. The AFL world probably took him in with cotton wool hands. They've then given him a little participation trophy because he got what, 19 touches?
Yep, they put their arms around him. Yep.
Oh, that is so soft. 19 touches for a riser. That gets you the riser this week.
Well, you know what? What can you do, eh? What can you do? There's not much you can do. So good on to the young bloke. Good on to the young bloke. He's having a crack, and he's got a Rising Star nomination. But we all know that virtually after 6 rounds, you're just now getting the participation medal. Like, no one wins it after 6 rounds. But that's how it rolls.
Wow. Can I go back to Bali?
Pardon? Well, you know what? A tackle over there is a tackle, not a trip. That's all I've got to say.
Right.
Quick question for you, Jdog. Did you see any of the... Now, I know you're in Bali mode. Did you see any of the games? Have you got any feedback for us?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Actually, a lot.
All right,
a lot because
tell me.
they have ABC Australia over there, which has a lot of footy games.
All right.
So I watched a lot. But there's also a magic round for NRL as well.
And?
So that was playing a lot as well around the places.
Nah, stuff that crap. All right. So, thoughts and feelings from the games on the weekend. What caught your mind? What made you go, oh, this is putrid? Performances on the weekend that made you... Because I've got some that I want to go through, but I want to hear from you first and foremost, because people want to hear the dulcet tones of the Jdog.
Okay. So, Peps, you pretty much hit the nail on the head at the top of the show. It was just an absolute, stab your eyes out, slit your wrists, go find something to do round. The Cats and Collingwood game, as you said, saved the round. Cats got away early. That really won them for that. Suns are pretenders. Giants are pretenders. And chuck the rest of them in. That was a shitty round. That was a yuck round.
Do you know, when I look at the ladder and the way that the way it's playing out as we speak, you got Brisbane on top. You've got Collingwood, Hawthorn sitting second and third. They're not too bad. Then you've got Gold Coast on 20, but is that a bit of a false economy at the moment, just with who they've beaten at this moment in time? I think they're going all right. I still think they'll make finals, but I don't think they're going to be top 4. I think Adelaide are playing some really, really good football at the moment. Western Bulldogs, I'd say if I was to bet on anybody who could potentially beat Brisbane or Collingwood or Geelong right now, it'd be the Western Bulldogs. But not having Sam Darcy there is... Oh.
But they do have their full midfield back now.
They do. But once they get Waitman back and they get Darcy back, strap yourselves in because they are humming as a unit. The GWS Giants, they are an absolute fraud. And after I saw them in round 1, I thought, here we go. And they are a fraud and a half, this mob. Like, they have got all the talent in the world and they just can't put it together. I do not know what it is. I don't think it's the coach. I just think that they... I don't even know. I don't know if it's a playing group. I don't know if they don't work hard both ways. There's just questions to be asked. I really thought they'd give Sydney, who have been really, really bad for so long, and I thought they were going to come out and do something, and they didn't.
Well, the last 5 weeks have looked like a West Coast win, then it was a St Kilda win, and then 3 on the bounce of losses.
Yeah. And you know what? Then you go... We called them the wankers with anchors with 4 games. They're now known as Fraudmantle because they are the biggest fraudsters in the AFL. Gary Lyon put it beautifully on AFL 360. If you haven't had a chance to watch Monday's episode, do so because he says it's like Collingwood and Geelong, when they get a win, they take what they've earned out of that win and they reinvest it the week after. And then they take another win and they reinvest it the week after. It's almost compound interest. They just keep building on it. Fremantle, they get a win and they just, let's withdraw all the money. Hey, we're done. And that's the way that they are. They just don't go week after week after week. And if they're not playing in Perth, they're almost the Western Australian version of the Gold Coast Suns. And they have got talent on that list. Then you've got St Kilda, who can only beat who's in front of them, and they're doing, pretty well at the moment. Essendon, they can only beat who's in front of them at the moment. They're doing okay at the moment. Port Adelaide, you're only out by percentage in the 8, which is strange if you think about it. Carlton, Sydney, and Melbourne, all on the same amount of points. And then you got Richmond, North, and West Coast. So it's tough when you sit here and you go, all right, I don't think anybody outside of... Look, I don't know any... I could almost say that the 8 is set. Well, okay. I know I say... But who...
this for another year.
Okay, all right. But out of those bottom 9 teams, who can you see taking anybody in that top 8 spot? The way they're performing right now.
I can't be part of this conversation because I feel like you will have this every week, and you have for the last 7 years.
No, I won't. But I just reckon I can't see anybody except Melbourne.
It's honestly like death, taxes, and this
conversation,
and then the SCG being a rained out test, and then Peps declaring that the ladder is set from round 2 onwards.
Yes, he's exactly true. I just think it's going to be tough. I don't know. There's just nobody outside the 8 is convincing me in a way that makes me go, yeah, they're a chance. I honestly, yeah, it's a tough one. Jdog, can I pick out some performances on the weekend which just got me excited just to watch footy?
Love to.
All right. And what I like about this is that when you have a look at these games, it makes me sit here and just go how lucky we are to watch the emergence of some players, but also players who have been around for a long time and for whatever reason just keep getting better. So on the Thursday night game, Zach Merritt just... do people realise how good this guy is? I know Essendon supporters do, but that last quarter, even though North were coming back, etc., the commentary was, put someone onto Merritt, otherwise he will win this game for Essendon. And he did. He is just an absolute freak of nature. And I just love everything that he is doing right now. He is, I wouldn't say he's untaggable, but I don't know how people don't put anybody onto him week after week. And he's been doing it for years. He'd be literally the only reason I would go and watch Essendon if I was an Essendon supporter. Because who else from Essendon is sexy enough to go and watch?
No, not at the moment. But I'm pretty sure we've also given Merritt a caning a couple of times, saying that basically he's overrated. Occasionally we've said that. So I don't know. This year, I agree with this year. This year he is freaky.
Yeah, he is just playing some awesome footy, and I absolutely love it.
And he won the game for them. Single-handedly won the game.
He won the game, and it's annoying when you can see it unfolding. You've been at footy games where you see things unfolding in front of your eyes. That was a perfect example of it, because it was just like, why is nobody picking this bloke up? Why? Can somebody tell me why no one wants to go near this person? He is just unbelievable. I love everything that he's rolling up at the moment. Absolutely love it. Another one I have to give a massive high five for is Saturday night. And I was talking about old people, 2 old people. It's been over the radio all day, but What Patrick Dangerfield was able to do in that last quarter on Saturday evening was just astounding. From the way he's just a brute. I think they said, I think Craig McRae said they had like 16 broken tackles and they were all danger. Like, that's just how hard he was hitting them. He was just immense. And that goal he slotted at the end, like, you don't think, I've always said it, when we've been on this podcast, that Danger's not the greatest kick. That's the only thing that's been letting him down. And he goes back from 55 and slots it at a time like that. The guy's 35, 36?
Yeah.
Why can't he just sit down in the forward line over the next few years and just do what he's doing? Like, he's probably, outside the Brownlow, it's almost career best form. Like, he hasn't played this well in the last number of years. You throw in, like, it wasn't Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, Brody Mychek. We've spoken about Brody Mychek. He's probably been the most underpaid performing forward in the league for the last, 5-6 years? He almost won the game off his own boot again, Jdog. Like, they were down by 3 goals with 2.5 minutes to go. Clunkety clunk. Bang, bang. Puts them within a goal. Puts them within a kick. And then Crispy misses. And congratulations for Crispy beating Jim Steins' record for consistent games. Consistent games. 254, I think it was. So it's a massive... no one will beat it. Absolutely unbelievable. And then I got to watch my mob against West Coast, and there's a bloke called Max Gawn, Jdog, who people were saying he's old, he's getting, he's on the decline, etc. I'll just have a casual 47 hitouts, 36 possessions, kick a goal, 20-something contested possessions, and just take the piss.
Yes, but it is. What's that word, Peps? It's a poison chalice in which Melbourne is drinking from at the moment.
Oh, tell me about it, stud. Why is that?
That's nothing really. We think we all know it. As soon if you overplay Max, if he goes down with an injury, it's going to be cooked for you guys.
Yeah, we know. We've got backups, but you're going to be going from a Tom Campbell. You'll be going from a Bugatti to a Toyota Tarago. Like,
well, Peps,
still a big car, but not
on an earlier point, Peps. We know that Danger votes very well at every Brownlow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see him as a sneaky at the outside moment?
Well, he'd have to be in the top 3. Nick Dacos.
Not in the coach's vote, but definitely I was thinking he could be. Like, Steele, once you're talking about mature players, Steele Sidebottom's having a cracking year.
Yeah.
Vaughan's having a cracking year, like you've said.
Well, here's the thing, mate. If you're talking about the best rated players so far, Wheeler Ratings. If you haven't been on Wheeler Ratings, it is just the best website for player stats, etc. If you look at the top 10 players when it comes to AFL rankings so far in 2025, have a look at these names, right? So we'll go old or young. The number one, who do you reckon the number one rated player in the league is right now on average? On average. That's the way you got to look at it.
Jordan Dawson?
It's the Bond. So he's been playing 3 games and he's number 1, right?
Back.
Take that as a bit of an anomaly because he's only played 3 games. Caleb Sarong is 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Cripps is 3rd. That surprises me because it just surprises me. I don't know.
Do you have the screen there, Peps, that you could show?
I should be able to. Let me see if I can.
Let's bring the viewers in to look at the goal that you're looking at.
All right, let me see if I can get this up on the screen for us. Give me a moment.
Because, I mean, Bond is not surprising. Yes, in terms of where he is, in terms of how many games he's played, but Bond is just an accumulation monster who just gets it. Like, I think I saw the other day that Zach Butters was almost 3 games in and almost got 10 in the big games played.
Yeah.
So there are players like that just dominate as soon as they come back in.
They just dominate. I'm just trying to get this image for us. Copy, so I can get over here. Paste.
But like according to the AFL coaches award at the moment, like who's leading that? You got Jordan Dawson on top, Dacos second, Steele side bottom third, Andrew Brayshaw, Max Thorne, Hugh McCluggage, Zach Merritt, Lockie Neal, Bailey Smith, and then Patrick Dangerfield.
Yep. Just trying to get this image across. I don't know if I can get it across. It's on a different screen.
No.
Oh, I know. Sorry to be a pain.
I know.
I just love everything that they serve up at the moment. Love it.
Yep.
Let me do this. Let me see if I can get this in. All right, give me 2 secs. Anyway, so I'm looking at this list, and then you've got Gawn is at 4. You've then got looking at number 5. You've got Noah Anderson. You've then got Isaac Heaney. You've also then got Zach Butters, who's been exceptional since he's come back. Lockie Neal, who I've actually think will massive chance to win a third Brownlow. Matt Rowell, who's been good this year, except for the last game. And then to round it off is Zach Merritt. So if you look at that, Bont old, Sarong young, Cripps old, Gawn old, Anderson young, Heaney young, Butters young, Neal old, Rowell young, Merritt old. 5 to 5. So anybody who says you have to have young guns just throughout your team, it doesn't work like that. You have to have the consistent, and we've seen it. We've seen how many teams, based on that theory, Gold Coast should have won 8 flags in a row because they're young studs. But you need to have that older head around you. What surprised me out of that list was Isaac Heaney. I didn't think his form so far this year has been all that good, to be honest. But it's been serviceable. But if you just look at it, you know, some of the biggest rises have been Tristan Xerri. Massive, and he's probably the second best ruckman in the league. Ed Richards, love what he does. The Ginger Ninja, just absolutely awesome. Max Holmes from Geelong, a massive riser. Tom de Koning at Carlton, he's had a pretty good year so far as well. Oh, McCluggage. How could you not love a bit of McCluggage? Love what he serves up. And you've also then got Toby Nankervis, is probably in a bit of career-based form, and George Hewitt. So there's a lot of players who have taken big strides so far this year, but then you've got players like Tim English who have gone backwards this year. You've got Oscar McInerney has gone backwards a little bit this year. Josh Kelly, where's he gone? He used to be dominating for GWS, and he's gone back quite a fair bit as well too. Dan Houston, interesting. His player average is around about 9.42, very, very low for what he's delivered over the last number of years when he's averaged 13s. It would help if he stopped smacking blokes, and he might be able to get a game. But I just love watching. I just love that the old guys are dominating. Horn Francis. What did you see out of the whole Horn Francis facade from about a week ago? What are your thoughts on that? If you know much about what happened.
What happened to Horn Francis?
Basically Northall getting stuck into Horn Francis, and good old Cornsey was saying, other Harley Reid or whatever, you can't do that. But when it's Horn Francis, you can do it because don't act like a child. It's good to see that he's sticking up. Brother. Really?
Corn's right.
I knew you'd say that.
Focus on your own team, make the squad better. Don't be shit kickers for such a long time, and then you can start cutting off the blokes. I don't care about going after Horn Francis. I don't care about Horn Francis retaliating. But maybe just focus inward at your own shithole instead of trying to razz up a 22-year-old who's absolutely ripping you a new one, and you let go because you went to an ice bath because you guys are a pack of bitches. What else do you want me to say, Pep?
No, he had a sook. He had a sook, and that's why he got kicked out. He got kicked out.
I don't mind having a sook. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But maybe North need to worry about their own.
Can I also, another player I really want to highlight He's been magnificent since he left the Swans and went over to them. Jordan Dawson, is he leading that club over there in South Australia? Just saying, boys, jump on my back.
Yeah, he's a gun.
He's a gun.
Legit gun.
Now, another bloke that I have picked on, and you'll know this bloke, I've picked on him for years. I've said he's overrated. I've said that he doesn't perform in big games. I've said that he only
you're talking about
stands out.
Striker.
That picture behind me, my friend, is not that. I'm talking about the man known as Bailey Smith.
Yes.
His 2025 has been exceptional.
Yeah.
Has been exceptional. And I'm willing to say when I've been wrong, I was wrong.
Yeah.
The highlights of his gut running, and you're a runner, so you would appreciate people who are able to push at full tilt from one to the next to the next to the next.
Mm.
His gut running is immense. Absolutely immense. It is staggering to see how hard he goes for and how long he goes for. Like, we're not talking 100 meters. We're talking 150, 200 meter sprints, takes a step off, and then just goes again. And he gets to the next contest, and he gets to the next contest. That is why he's getting so much of the ball, because he just works himself from contest to contest to contest. It reminds me of Ben Cousins in his day. It reminds me of Judd in his heyday. They just go from one contest to the next. They get the ball, they go again. He is, like I said, I'm willing to put my hand up and saying I've got it wrong about him. He is amazing.
It's not bad. That second goal of the game where it streamed out of the centre square and then kicked it from 55 out. I was like, that's danger. That's another danger.
Yeah, it was pretty special, wasn't it? It was pretty special. But then you have Tom Green up there in GWS. He's just once again got the whole club on his back, and he's just doing anything he possibly can. Outside of Brayshaw and Sarong over there in Fremantle, like, they are the pillars. They are the Twin Towers over there, and I don't know who's going to be able to work their way into games. Like, if I had the Duck over there from the Purple Rain, he'd be saying, look, outside of those two, who else is the shining star?
Yeah.
Shining stars. Now, Hayden Young has gone down with a bad hamstring injury. Now, it was a great move moving him forward over the last couple of weeks, but like, they just seem helpless. If those two don't perform, who's going to do it? Bolton's been a real disappointment since he's come across. Amiss and Tracy haven't really dominated. Jackson hasn't been able to get on the... I don't think he's been able to get on the park through injury. Darcy still hasn't clicked. Like, you look at the names on paper and they've got talent to burn, but they just can't make it work.
Oh, so where are you at with them?
With who? Fremantle?
With Fremantle. I know you call them fraud.
I think I picked them to finish top 4. Like, they'll be lucky to make finals at the moment unless something seriously gets worked out. You're going back.
Going to look at my book.
He's going back to the paperwork. I think I've even got my paperwork here. But I just don't think that they're going to make finals, Jdog. They're not good enough. Look what they served up. They had a goal for a half in perfect conditions.
I agree.
It's just, yeah.
What was it? The lowest score since 1999?
What was it? It was 1 goal 7, I think, or 2 goal. It was just disgusting what they served up as well.
I'd almost, watching that game or choosing to shit in my own hands and clap.
Yep.
I'd choose that.
Shit in your hands and go. Hey, quick question. And this is something else. Like, you see, you've got Levi Ashcroft and you've got Will Ashcroft.
Don't get me started.
All right, I'm not going to get you started, but I have a big question for you on this one. Look, they are just immense. One wins the Q Clash medal on the weekend. The other one's got a Norm Smith medal.
They're so hot.
Yep. And not bad. Not bad on the eye for anyone. But then you have a look at the Dacos brothers, Josh and Nick. So the question I had for you, Jdog, if you could have the Ashcroft brothers or the Dacos brothers, you could have either of them come across to your mob, to Port Adelaide. Which two would you take?
Ooh, big one. Would I have two Bash brothers or would I have? Oh, that's a tough one. Who are the Dacostas? Because I reckon Josh Dacosta has been silky this year.
He's been good for a number of years. Like,
But Nick is an immense finisher and just finds space where there's just nothing.
You talk about gut runners. He just contest to contest to contest to contest. That's just how he works. Contest to contest, and they give him the ball, and he works it. But then you got two brothers who, yeah, they are Bash brothers, but they can play. They're just not. They're just
I'm
not.
going the Ashcross. I'm going the Ashcross.
You'd go the Ashcross.
I value that kind of player. They're not as like they're quantum Pally-esque in terms of just finding their way out of pack, and they can kick miraculous goals like a Nick Dacos can do.
They're you're right. They just loving to watch. And when you consider,
How
Will
old are
did
they?
his knee
23 and 21 or something?
something along those. I don't know.
19, sorry.
20? I think 20 and
Yeah.
21. If there's a year between them, and he's got drafted at 20, he got
So
drafted
you've
at
got
18.
basically 15 years
18.
of this to come.
You've still got at least 10, 12 years minimum of those two, and they're just silk. Like they're silk.
Unreal.
It's a tough one, mate. Because I look at the Dacos brothers, and for everything Nick does, I actually like the way that Josh plays more, because I played a lot on the wing, and that's where he plays, and so I'm able to appreciate just the way that he moves and the way if he comes off half back, but the way that he's just there any time that they need the outlying kick. But then you watch what it's not an easy one. If you ask me, I'd take all four.
If I was you and you had all four, I would only be looking at your books just like AFL want to look at Geelong's.
It'd be like Penthouse of football if those four were in the one team.
So speaking of which,
Yep.
Did you see the article today that Zach Butter's management had a conversation with Geelong?
No, talk to me about it, stud. Talk to me about it.
Look, Zach Butters will become the first $2 million man in the AFL.
You reckon?
Yeah, we can both agree on that, can't we?
I reckon that if he
Clayton Love was on 1.7.
Yeah, that's stupid. I don't think he'd be a $2 million man, but he'd be up to 1.6, 1.7 if it was front loaded. But I'd take him. I would take Butters. He won't go to.
He's going to be the first $2 million player in the AFL.
No, not yet. Not yet. I reckon it'll be early dollars now, but with the way that the CPI goes in the next couple of years, big dog, I'd say that you're a massive chance. Would you reckon he's a chance to leave Port?
I think let's see what the next 18 months hold in terms of where Port are.
When's he? So he's out of contract in the next year.
In the next year.
So you want to get something for him this year as a pre-agent?
Do you know what, Peps? That would be what some would think to look at it. But Butters is that player that you just wouldn't. You'd hold him for another year and see if you can convince him for another year. In the same way that Sydney did for Chad Warner. Like, you've just got to hold and just go.
Yeah, but Chad's only doing two more to get to free agency. Yeah, and he reckons the Swans are in with a bit of a chance.
From there, Port have either got to match the trade or match the offer.
Yep.
And if not, force a trade.
Yep.
But yeah, the story came out today that's from Jay Clark, so take them what you will. But essentially, his management team had met with Geelong, and I just lolled. Peps, I just lolled.
Do you because of the whole thing that we've spoken about with Geelong over the last...
Look, here's
Geelong, another week of Jamie talking about Geelong.
If he goes to Geelong, it will be the funniest situation that has ever unfolded in the AFL.
Could you imagine if him and Oliver went there?
Part of me wants to do it because I genuinely think that people might actually burn down AFL House. I'd love it to happen, but for that reason, I'm not Peps. When it comes to this kind of stuff, I'm beyond anger. I just find this hilarious.
It's pretty disgusting that it
I've,
can
I've,
happen.
I've made amends that Butters leaving. I think Butters is leaving personally. Yeah.
Question for you, and question without notice. What do you think of St Kilda at the moment?
I think you and I are both on record of giving them the props in the first 4 or 5 weeks of this season.
Mm.
I'm convinced. I think they've still got the same issues from last season.
Okay.
I think defensively they're poor. I think they get if they get beaten from the center, which they seem to do now more often than not, that they're very, very beatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
The forward line is in trouble. Like Collingwood drafting memory, he chips in 1 or 2 a game. Wonderful. Saints no longer have a second or third tall, which he was.
They don't have a second or third tall, and what they also don't have is a backup, because when King goes down, like that second comes into the first, but they don't even have that. So they're going, and then Calamity hasn't been playing great down forward. They've moved him down back and has been okay down there.
Yeah, one of the better on Friday night.
Another player I just want to give props out to, and I don't think he gets enough pats on the back, is Snags Higgins. He's the best small forward in the league, bar none.
Did you just see the game that Charlie Cameron put on?
Yeah, Jdog. I did. But I'm also looking at the Coleman at the moment, and Jack Higgins is sitting second.
Yeah.
Now, he only had one on the weekend, but he's consistent. I don't think Cameron's as consistent.
Look, I'm not a massive Snags fan.
I just love his. And also, we'll talk about old blokes. You got Jack Gunston sitting third. Like, he was supposed to be, going off on the back of the horse, riding into the sunset, and he's the only person who can kick goals for Hawthorn at the moment.
Yeah.
So tag Gunston. tag Gunston.
Man on man.
One more thing before we have a look at the games coming into this week. We mentioned it just before we came on air. The Willie Rioli news.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me, Peps. What's happening?
So if anybody hasn't heard, Willie Rioli and Bailey Dale had a bit of a scuffle on the weekend. And Willie Rioli sent a message to one of Bailey Dale's teammates, pretty much along the lines of, I know a lot of people up there in Darwin, and so the next time you're playing up there, pretty much tell Bailey Dale he shouldn't leave the hotel. Hear me out though. This is the thing that kills me. All right. So Bailey, I was about to say Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith gives the finger, cops a couple $1,000 fine. This bloke has written that basically a threat in writing, nothing at all.
So the AFL
have done nothing, and they've basically said the clubs can work it out amongst themselves. So if you stick your finger up at someone, you're going to be paying cash. But if you threaten someone in writing, good luck to you, buddy. Just have a chat amongst yourselves.
So let me get this right. The Bailey, and damn you for example, this in my head all the time. Bailey Smith has given someone in the crowd the middle finger.
Yep.
Fair enough. That's player to external.
Running off the ground.
But this is player to player or relationship on ground, right?
Yep.
Tell me, what was the fine again when another incident, let's just call it Aeroplane 10,
Oh,
something
Aeroplane
that happened
Ken.
on the field?
That
What
was,
did that end up happening?
was it $20,000?
So so that was just an aeroplane gesture and a bit of a thing on, and that was 20 grand.
And they made it the marquee game for the next gather round.
Okay. So does this mean that Western Bulldogs and Port have locked themselves in for a 2026 game in Northern Territory?
No doubt. It'll be the battle of the digits, or it'll be the hotel escape room, or it'll be
Ramsgate.
It'll be the will he get out or not? I don't know.
So, Pep, one thing we know is you never send this stuff in writing.
Nah.
Say it on the field, tell it to someone's face directly, but you never put this in writing.
But what makes it even funny is makes me laugh even more. You shouldn't put it in chat, because if you're like the Brisbane Lions, who leave their chat logged in on their wife's phone and send pictures.
Peps,
I don't know.
I remember the good old days. If I wanted to send a message,
you walked home.
I'd just tell them through Mick Gatto.
Or you'd walk
Mick,
over.
Mick,
Or you'd walk over with
through.
"You're a wanker" written on a post-it note. You'd walk up and just put it in front of someone and walk off.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
You do that to me all the time.
Just in the middle of your training session, walk in the room and just, there you go.
Or you might just send pop-up messages to our boss.
Correct.
Classic. Hey,
that is laughable that the AFL have nothing to say about that situation.
So you can, if you threaten someone in writing, nothing will happen. Do the bird or the plane, you're going to be paying over the cash.
Sometimes they are just shooting themselves in the foot. It's like, Peps, we don't even have to write this kind of stuff. Like, no. This is obvious.
You know, we turn up every week and we go, what are we going to talk about? Like 5 minutes before the show. We don't even need to come up with stuff, because the AFL just brings it out every single week. So good on you, Andrew Dillon.
Great.
Keeping us employed.
Great.
It's not easy under Albanese. Rightio. This week, round 9. Let's have a look at some of the games this week, and I'd love your opinion whether it's a knower or a goer. Fremantle versus Collingwood, Optus Stadium. You reckon Fremantle could bite back against the Pies this week? Pies coming off a shortened week.
8:10 on a Thursday. Is that normal?
8:10 over there. So not 8:10 here. So it's 8:10
here.
No,
it's 8:10 here. It's my local time.
Yeah, but it's 6:10 over there.
Yeah. That just feels.
We used to had to wait till 8:30 for games. You remember?
Oh, Friday night was bullshit. Totally.
That's bullshit.
All right, that game there could be 100.
That could be all right. That might be all right. St Kilda versus Carlton.
Good game.
St Kilda home game at the MCG.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What? Just because
you think they'd be a marvel,
basically
but they
June through to September.
Melbourne versus Hawthorn.
Terrible game.
I don't know. I'm giving myself a sneaky chance. I'm going to Beetlejuice the musical that night with the family. So I might not be able to go in the city.
Is it?
Going with the fam.
I might just look at that. Ticketmaster, Ticketek.
I don't know. Relsey bought it. It'll be an interesting one. I'm not convinced on Hawthorn at the moment. They're not playing great football, and Melbourne are starting to get a bit of spunk back. So, hey, stranger things have happened. Essendon versus Sydney. I reckon Essendon are a big chance for that one.
Huge chance.
Win.
W.
Talk about reality checks. They've taken 2 out of the bank in 2 weeks. Gold Coast versus Western Bulldogs in Darwin. Gold Coast don't lose in Darwin. Port Adelaide versus... showdown, Jdog. Showdown, 8:10 p.m.
Yeah, I can tell you so. Western Bulldogs is going to beat Gold Coast Suns.
Yep.
Adelaide are going to beat Port Adelaide.
What about this game? Richmond versus West Coast. Could West Coast get a win?
He's probably their only chance.
You'd think. I can't see. I don't know where they're going to get it from. Geelong versus GWS at GMHBA. Oh, what a belt. It's a great game. Great game. And wrapping it up, North Melbourne versus Brisbane at Ninja Stadium, which is down there. Ninja Stadium is in Tasmania.
What is Ninja Stadium?
Oh, you know, like the Ninja Blender and the Ninja Ice Cream Machine.
They haven't got enough money to sponsor a stadium.
They're a big company. Well, they have. So they've got one there. So they're going to play. So normally the graveyard shift game has been a belter.
This is going to be a belter,
but more of a belting
on the scoreboard.
I think it's going to be a belting. Yep. I don't see that much happening. Hey, quick question. Buzz is back and St Kilda won. Who would have thought? Who does the AFL answer to, Peps? Themselves. They answer to themselves. There's no laws of the game committee. There's nothing.
Probably the public. No,
but I don't think they even answer to the public. Because I'll tell you what, if they did answer to the public, there'd be a lot of changes that would be made that don't get made. It's all about the dollars that come through the door. Radio. Yep.
Can I just steal your ear for another second?
Yeah, go for it.
Piastri. 3 wins on the bounce. 16 point lead in the World Drivers' Championship.
He has taken over from Norris, and he's a massive chance, Jdog. He's a massive chance.
Get excited.
I was listening to the radio on the way home, and they were talking about the Formula One, and they were just talking about the differences between Piastri and Norris. And it literally came down to Piastri is just his class throughout a race, where Norris is like really good but doesn't have the consistency. Piastri is just consistently good.
He's very, very, very cool.
I didn't see him.
Different sportsmen. Piastri is leading an event that only has 20 people in the world who can do this at one time.
Yep.
He is cool under pressure. He is classy. He is humble. And you talk about these 300 and something, half of them are going to be flogs, who walk around thinking that the shit don't smell, kicking a bit of leather around every week.
Yep.
I don't know. I just think Piastri is such a classy operator, and I think that a lot of people in the AFL can speak that.
Yeah, I could, and I reckon Australians on the global stage are pretty much like that, Jdog, in these type of events. We don't have any
20. There's only 20 of these people that exist in the world.
But Ricardo was the same. He was probably one of the most popular when he was
easily
there.
Popular.
From a golfing perspective, like Jason Day, Min Woo Lee,
and her brother,
and her brother, yeah.
No,
Adam Scott, like they're just amazing at what they do, and they're just so humble. It's just who we are as people. And the great Rocket Man has joined us as well too, so it's great to see him on board before we wrap up this massive Round 8 review, which was a massive weekend of footy. Hey, Jdog, we'll be back. I'll be having my team tips for this week. I did get 5. Had a bit of a shock, a couple of upsets, I must admit. But I'll be back with my tips for round 9 AFL style coming up very shortly too. So thank you everybody for joining. Make sure if you haven't done so, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell everybody about us. But more importantly, I'm Peps, that's Jdog, and that's Lace Out, because it's how what, Jdog?
Listeners like their footy.
They want it that way, exactly. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.
See you, everyone.